So, Jose, we've been talking a lot about what it means to feel passion and have purpose. How do you help somebody find their passion?
I'm glad you asked that question, because that's a question that comes out all the time with my coaching clients. They're always asking, how can I find out my passion, my purpose?
And what do you tell them?
Well, the reality is that we actually have more than one passion, more than one purpose. Even though we're surrounded by things that tell us that we need to look for that one thing that we're destined to do, that thing that we're meant to do in our lives, the reality is that there's a broad reality of patterns and interests.
I mean, that links quite closely to what we were saying in our previous video about what it means to feel passion. So how do you take that step to find your passion?
Well, there's a few things that you can do. And we're gonna start with a very simple one that people actually can do while watching this video.
I like the sound of simple.
I want to be a robot designer.
I want to be a marine biologist.
I want to
Children
be
dream big, but as we grow, something happens and we lose sight of our passions and our purpose. Everyone has a unique definition of success. Follow us on our discovery to redefine what it means to feel successful for you.
So imagine this situation. You're heading off to a train journey, and when you get to the station, it's cold and you realize that your train has been delayed by 30 minutes. Then you look around and you see this cozy, warm bookshop. Then you wander in, and what do you head to?
What do you mean?
Well, you've got this bookshop full of books of every single subject that you can imagine. Do you go to the biographies? Do you go to the DIY, to the science fiction, to crime, history? Which section are you naturally drawn to?
For me, I probably go to the property section, maybe a bit of interior design, flip through a couple of biographies.
In my case, I usually go to the photography section.
Okay, well, this all sounds a bit simple, to be honest, because sometimes I might go to the psychology section or just flick through some fiction.
But the thing is that it is very simple. It's about finding clues. It's about finding where your interests are, where you daydream, what you're naturally drawn to. There's another simple way of doing this. Imagine you're getting the Sunday newspaper, and this is for those of us who still do it the old-fashioned way. And you know that it comes with all these supplements, these magazines with different sections. Which ones do you read first? Which ones do you only touch if you're mildly bored? And which ones do you throw to the bin without even touching them?
So it sounds like this is about kind of noticing what you're naturally drawn to, then exploring what particularly it is that you like about that, and then drawing some insights or conclusions from that. And then use those insights to spot what your passion is.
Yeah. And there's something else that you can do. It's called a life graph.
Okay, what's that?
Well, you take a piece of paper and you draw a graph like this. In the x-axis, you put the years of your life, and in the y-axis, you put very happy, pretty happy, or unhappy.
Doesn't look very scientific, this graph.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to be scientific. There's really not a scientific formula to find out where your passion is. This is about reflecting on your life, on the different times of your life, and how you felt at that particular point. So you may end up with a line that looks like this.
Okay, so what's that telling you?
Well, think about how you felt at that particular time and what was it that made you feel that way. For example, in this case, it was when you had that boss that had no respect for you. And in this one here, when you were traveling. Oh, this one here is when you were being really creative at that project. And this last one here, when you felt really unsupported.
Okay, so like you say, uncovering those clues.
And also you can do different color lines for different parts of your life, like your career, your relationships. And there's something else that you can do, and it's called 1,000 times your income.
Well, that sounds like saying success is linked to money.
Yeah, well, actually it's quite the opposite. It's about answering 3 questions, and these questions are quite difficult to answer. The first one is, imagine that you have a long-distance relative that you've never met before, and he leaves you in his will 1,000 times what you earn in a year.
This sounds like one of those scam emails I've had.
Yeah, well, The windfall is that it comes with one condition. You can only spend that money on yourself. You cannot spend it anywhere else. So take some time to think about this and write down the answer.
Okay, it's quite hard. I think what I'd do, if I'd spend that money, I would probably spend it in relation to travel. Yeah, I think that's probably what I would do. Okay, so that was what's the second question?
The second question is that imagine now that you've received a second installment of that money, but this time with the condition that you cannot spend it on yourself. You need to spend it on somebody else. Again, think about it and write down the answer.
Okay, well that's actually even harder. But I think if I had to, I feel like I'm drawn to my interest in dogs, so I'd probably do something in relation to dogs. So actually already I can see there's a bit of a pattern in some of my answers there. What's the third question?
In this one, you've been granted eternal life and an unlimited supply of money. What would you do with this? Think about it, write it down.
Okay, so unlimited money, unlimited life. I think, yeah, one of the things that actually comes immediately to mind is I would be interested in exploring. You're right, these questions are actually quite hard to answer. But what I can see that they're doing is, again, giving us some more of those clues.
Yeah, exactly. This is about finding out what your passions may be. Remember that the process of finding your passion can start with noticing the interest that you're naturally drawn to, then exploring what you particularly like about them. Then draw some insights and conclusions and use those insights to explore what your passion might be. There's a couple of tools that can help you with the process. One is the life graph. This tool will help you reflect on the highs and lows of your life. And then 1,000 times your income. Ask yourself these 3 questions. What would you do for yourself with 1,000 times your income? What would you do for others? And finally, what would you do with an unlimited amount of money and time? Thank you guys for watching this video. If you have any comments or questions, make sure that you post them in the comment section below. Also, subscribe to our channel as we will be posting more videos about this subject.